MLB free agency is officially upon us, and we're already seeing some significant moves and reports centered around the Toronto Blue Jays. As we know, this offseason is critical for the future of this team, and it does look like they're going to be pretty active this winter. Before we break down all of the latest reports, I encourage you guys to hit the like and smash the subscribe button if you enjoy Blue Jays content and discussion so you don't miss any future videos. Alright folks, let's get into it. So first things first, let's talk a little bit about the recent roster moves the Toronto Blue Jays made just a couple days ago. The Jays announced a bunch of roster moves on Monday, which included Manoah, Romano, Varsho, and Wagner all coming off of the 60-day IL, Michael Peterson being claimed by the Marlins, De Los Santos being claimed by the Mets, and then most surprisingly, Génesis Cabrera getting waived by the Toronto Blue Jays and ending up on the free agent market. Now, the reason that this move was, and still is, pretty surprising is because the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen is really bad. Last season, the Jays had one of the worst bullpens in all of baseball, and it is no secret that if they want to be competitive in 2025, then that whole reliever staff is going to need to get a lot better. Génesis Cabrera, even though he wasn't incredible, was at least serviceable for the Jays last year, and if you can believe it or not, he actually pitched the most innings out of that bullpen for the Jays. So it was obviously a bit of a shock to see Toronto decide not to hold on to him. However, all of that being said, it does look like the Jays are going to be addressing this problem, just maybe not in the way that you might think. Ben Nicholson Smith writes, "For one, they're going to be involved in the market for starting pitching, not just relievers. While it was their bullpen that struggled most last year, posting an American League worst 4.82 ERA, the Blue Jays are also expected to pursue starting pitchers in free agency. If they sign an established starter, Kikuchi for the sake of argument, they could move Yariel Rodriguez to the bullpen, augmenting their pitching staff as a whole while building out valuable depth behind their starting five. In theory, it would be a way to upgrade their rotation and bullpen at once. And considering there's guys on the market like Max Fried, Jack Flaherty, hell, even Corbin Burns, there's a lot of quality starters that the Jays could decide to pursue if that's the route they want to go down. In fact, the Blue Jays have already been linked to a starting pitcher, although I would be surprised if you were familiar with him. It was recently revealed that the Toronto Blue Jays are reportedly evaluating Japanese free agent Shinosuke Ogasawara. Sam Connon writes, "Ogasawara is a 5'11", 183-pound lefty, giving him a very similar physical profile to Shota Imanaga, who inked a 4-year, $53 million contract with the Cubs last offseason. Imanaga, who is a 5'10", 175-pound lefty, was 3 years older than Ogasawara when he hit MLB free agency, but he did have more impressive NPB and international resumes. This definitely wouldn't be the first time that we've seen the Toronto Blue Jays go after some international free agents, and if they're looking for somebody with high upside that they might not need to break the bank for, then Ogasawara really could be a strong option. Finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Juan Soto." Whoa, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below to join the action. Only available in Ontario, must be 19 years of older to participate. Please play responsibly. Now everyone, back to the content. Now, we have already heard from Hector Gomez that the Jays are intending to go all out for Juan Soto, or at least try to, but ultimately, that doesn't really matter. The Jays could offer him all the money in the world, but if Soto isn't serious about Toronto, then it's just not going to make any difference. I guess the good news for Blue Jays fans, though, is that Soto could actually be interested in Toronto after all. Jeff Passan recently spoke on the Blair and Barker show, saying, "One curiosity I have is how serious the Blue Jays are about Soto, because I think Soto would be serious about them." Now, this is interesting because this is the first time that we've actually heard somebody talk about Juan Soto potentially being okay with coming to Toronto, and hearing it from somebody like Jeff Passan, who's probably the most reliable source in the industry, does give me just a little bit of hope. Ultimately, though, I will not be holding my breath, and the chances of Juan Soto coming to the Toronto Blue Jays are probably less than 1%, but as Jim Carrey famously once said,
"So you're telling me there's a chance?"
But folks, that is your latest Toronto Blue Jays news and updates. Please make sure to hit the like and smash the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, go Jays go!